In our last video, we looked at a number of natural causes for climate change. Now we're going to look at some non-natural causes for climate change. We ended our last video by talking about an asteroid impact on the Earth, that it would be strong enough to kick up a lot of soot and dust and ash and just a lot of debris into the atmosphere, which would then reflect sunlight, cool the Earth, and plunge it into an ice age. This is believed to be the reason why dinosaurs went extinct. But there is another cause that is not from a meteor or an asteroid, and this would be nuclear explosions. This was the big fear during the Cold War. Um, a big fear that we had, something that we called a nuclear winter. The idea was that there would be so many nuclear explosions which were powerful enough that would cause a lot of debris to rise into the atmosphere, darkening the world, cooling the world, plunging it into an unexpected ice age, so on. Now, there are other causes too, and one of them is believed to be human interactions. So there's some very substantial evidence that shows, yes, humans are having an impact on climate. Here is a graph that shows the blue line would be a model prediction of the Earth's average temperature without human influence. And you can see the black line is what actually happened. You can see that the temperature rose and did not agree very well with it at all. Now down here, we ran the exact same model, but this time included human interaction, and sure enough, the data actually did agree with the prediction quite well. Now you may be saying, oh, but Dr. Olson, you said that this is natural. This is a normal part of the Earth's cycle. The Earth is still coming out of an ice age. We're supposed to be warming up. Yes, I did. And we are. The problem is not that we're coming out of an ice age and warming up. The problem is that because of human interaction, we are warming up at a rate faster than we should be. Now, what exactly are humans doing that could be causing an increase in global temperature? Well, you have a number of radiative forcing agents. We're going to look at two here. In this graph on the bottom, we're looking at temperature as a function of time in the past. So here's today. Here's a time of 100,000 years ago, 200,000 years ago, 300,000 years ago, so on. And you can see that a little over 100,000 years ago, sure enough, the temperature was actually hotter than it is today. About 250,000 years ago, 350,000 years ago, 400,000 years ago, so on. Multiple time periods where the temperature was significantly higher. Well, we've been able to actually track the amount of methane and carbon dioxide over those time periods. And notice that every time you have a spike in temperature, you have both a spike in methane and a spike in carbon dioxide. Now, you do also have other spikes in carbon dioxide and methane that do correspond with increases in temperature, but not huge warming periods like what we have going on now. Now, here's the big fear. This is what's been, and yes, you have spikes, natural spikes that happened in the Earth many times over the last hundreds of thousands of years. But look at where the current value of methane is. It is enormously high. Now, you have to remember, by the way, same with carbon dioxide, much higher than it's ever been. You do have to remember that now we have very specific instruments that can measure these values, whereas 100,000 years ago, we did not. So this data is relying on ice core samples, on ocean floor samples, dendrochronology, so on, fossils, you name it. Whereas now we have actual straightforward data. And so there's a discrepancy there between the data. You have to keep that in mind. Point of this being, does an increase of carbon dioxide and methane usually agree with temperatures? Yes, it does. Is there currently an increase in carbon dioxide and methane in our atmosphere right now? Yes, there is.